I still remember the exact moment it hit me that I had a problem with money. Not because I was broke, but because no matter how much I earned, I never seemed to have anything left. And that realization didn't come from a dramatic overdraft notification or a missed bill. It came from something much quieter and more uncomfortable. Standing in my room late at night, scrolling through my bank app, doing the math in my head, and realizing that after years of working, stressing, and telling myself I was doing okay, I hadn't even saved my first $10,000, not even close. And what scared me wasn't the number itself, but the thought that if I didn't change something soon, I could work for decades and still end up in the same place, just older and more tired. And that's why I'm making this video, because saving your first $10,000 isn't about being rich or lucky or having a high-paying job. It's about learning a skill that almost nobody teaches you, a skill that completely rewires how you see money, progress, and yourself. And if you stay with me through this story, I'll show you exactly how I did it, step by step, mistake by mistake, in a way that anyone can replicate, even if you're starting from zero, even if you feel behind, even if you've failed before. Because the truth is, my journey didn't start with discipline or motivation. It started with frustration, with the quiet embarrassment of realizing that I was busy but not building. And the first shift wasn't saving more money. It was understanding why I never had any to save in the first place. Because for years I believed the biggest lie about money, that saving comes after everything else, after rent, after food, after fun, after convenience, after stress relief purchases, after I deserve this moments, and what's left at the end gets saved. Except there is never anything left at the end. Because spending naturally expands to fill whatever space you give it. And once I accepted that, everything changed. Because instead of asking, how can I save what's left? I started asking, how can I design my life so saving happens automatically? And that question alone probably added thousands of dollars to my net worth before I even touched my income. Because the first thing I did wasn't cut coffee or cancel every subscription or live like a monk. It was tracking, not budgeting, not restricting, just tracking. Because you cannot fix what you refuse to look at. And for one full month, I wrote down every dollar I spent, every meal, every impulse buy, every late night delivery order, every small purchase I used to ignore. And what shocked me wasn't the big expenses. It was how many tiny decisions were silently draining my future. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Because suddenly money stops being abstract and starts becoming a reflection of your habits, your emotions, your boredom, your stress, your identity. And that's when I realized that saving money isn't a math problem. It's a behavior problem. And behaviors don't change through willpower alone. They change through systems. So instead of promising myself that I'd try harder, I created a system where saving was the default and spending required effort. And the simplest but most powerful move I made was paying myself first. Not emotionally, not metaphorically, literally. The moment any money came in, a fixed percentage was automatically transferred into a separate savings account that I never touched, never checked daily, and never treated as available money. Because the brain treats visible money as spendable money, and invisible money as gone. And I didn't start big, I didn't jump to some unrealistic number. I started with an amount that felt almost too easy, because consistency beats intensity every time. And that first month, something strange happened. I didn't feel poorer, I didn't feel restricted, I simply adapted. Because humans are incredibly good at adjusting to constraints. And once I realized that, I stopped asking, can I afford this? And started asking, is this worth slowing down my future? And that single question quietly killed hundreds of unnecessary purchases. But saving alone wasn't enough, because saving $10,000 purely through cutting expenses is like trying to fill a pool with a teaspoon. It works, but it takes forever. So the next shift was increasing my income. Not dramatically, not overnight, but intentionally. And here's the part nobody likes to hear, because it requires honesty, Not hustle culture, not overnight success stories, just honesty. I looked at how I was spending my time and asked myself which activities actually moved my income forward and which ones just made me feel busy. And once I stripped away the illusion of productivity, I realized I had more time than I thought. Time that was being spent on low-reward habits. So instead of trying to make more money everywhere, I focused on one skill that could directly increase my income, something I could learn, improve, and monetize. And that choice matters less than the commitment to it, because whether it's freelancing, selling a service, learning sales, editing, design, coding, tutoring, or any other skill, money flows to value. And once you focus on creating value instead of chasing money, income becomes a side effect, not a struggle. And as my income slowly increased, I made a rule that changed everything. For every increase in income, I increased my savings rate before I upgraded my lifestyle. Because lifestyle inflation is the silent killer of financial progress. It makes you feel successful while keeping you stuck. And by locking in higher savings before higher spending, I accelerated my progress without feeling deprived. And somewhere along the way, something unexpected happened. Saving money stopped feeling like sacrifice and started feeling like momentum. Because watching that number grow, even slowly, changed how I saw myself. I stopped seeing myself as someone who was bad with money and started seeing myself as someone who followed through. And identity is powerful, because once your identity changes, your behavior follows naturally. And that's when I hit my first $1,000 saved. And I won't lie to you, it didn't feel life-changing at first, but it felt solid. It felt like proof that I could set a goal and reach it. And that confidence spilled into everything else. Because the first 1,000 isn't about the money, it's about trusting yourself. And from there, the journey became easier. Not because life got cheaper or income skyrocketed, but because I had built habits that worked even on bad months, even when motivation was low, even when unexpected expenses hit, because they always do. And when setbacks came, I didn't quit, I adjusted, because quitting is expensive. It costs you progress, momentum, and belief. And over time, those small, boring, unglamorous decisions compounded into something powerful. Because compound interest doesn't just apply to money, it applies to habits. And eventually, without some dramatic moment, without fireworks, without a viral success story, I crossed $10,000 saved. And when I did, the number itself mattered far less than what it represented. Freedom, options, breathing room, the ability to say no, the ability to handle emergencies without panic, the ability to invest, to take calculated risks, to move through life with less fear. And that's the part most people don't talk about. Saving your first $10,000 doesn't just change your bank account, it changes your nervous system. It lowers stress, it increases confidence, it makes you more patient, because desperation forces bad decisions, and stability gives you leverage. And the reason I believe anyone can do this isn't because everyone has the same income or opportunities. It's because the process scales, the principles work at almost any level. Start where you are, automate your savings, track without judgment, increase income intentionally, avoid lifestyle inflation, and most importantly, forgive yourself quickly when you mess up. Because perfection isn't required, persistence is. And if you're watching this right now thinking $10,000 feels impossible, remember that impossible is just a label we give things we haven't broken down yet. Because this journey isn't about a single leap. It's about hundreds of small steps taken consistently in the same direction. And once you take the first few, momentum will do more of the work than motivation ever could. So if there's one thing I want you to take away from this story, it's this: saving your first $10,000 isn't about money. It's about becoming the type of person who builds instead of consumes, who plans instead of reacts, who chooses future comfort over present impulse. And once you become that person, $10,000 isn't the finish line. It's just the beginning. Subscribe to my channel, catch next upload video.